Hello and welcome to Visual Radio. It is August 16th, 2012, and my return guests, the Maum Meditation Center, is that right?
That's correct.
Margie, Jisoo, and Mark.
Correct.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having us back.
Oh, thank you. I had so much fun talking to you last week, and we did want to explore a lot of different things, so here we are again. Maum Meditation is in East Arlington, right on the Cambridge border.
Yes.
So if you're going from the Arlington Heights on Mass Ave towards Cambridge, is it on the right or the left as you're heading towards Cambridge?
Left.
It's on the right. It's on the right as
sorry.
you're heading towards Cambridge.
Yes.
Heading out of Cambridge is on the left.
Left, right.
Okay. So, interesting. You give lectures on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yes.
What time are they?
On Wednesday, they're at 7 p.m. and on Saturday, they're at 3 p.m. And
these
they
are
last,
free.
they're free. And they last about an hour, Joe, and what we do is typically what will happen is someone will have a curiosity or an interest about Maum meditation because we have our brochures that we distribute all around different areas, different towns and stores. And so generally people will find one of our brochures, and there's not a whole lot of information in the brochures, but they're very inspiring. So that sparks some interest in people to come and find out more. So what we do is when they have an interest to find out more, they come to one of the free introductory lectures, and then we give them a complete overview of what Maum meditation is all about, because it is very different from any other meditation. So we want people to be sure about what the meditation is all about and also be inspired even more than the brochures allow to start Maum meditation.
And that's how I met Margie and Mark and Jisoo, because I was going to a movie, probably Total Recall, running into Boston, and at the Davis Square Red Line, I got a pamphlet. Mm-hmm. And here we are, which I think is just different ways of communicating. Pamphlet or television, yes. It's all communication.
Yes, that's why we thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to reach out to your viewers and also people that will be able to see this tape and also spark their interest in finding out more about the meditation and how important it is. So what you're doing today, Joe, is very important for not only the community but all surrounding towns, and also maybe having it on the internet will have a lot of people become interested in Maum meditation because we do not only have the center in Arlington, but we have them all over the world. So
there's 300 or more?
There's over 300 centers, and they're opening rapidly around the world. We're a nonprofit organization, and this organization is probably the fastest growing organization in the world right now. It's growing that rapidly.
We're going to talk to Jisoo and Mark about their own personal experiences again. But for me, meditation, of course, growing up in the 60s with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and the Beatles and George Harrison getting into that, you hear about Om and the mantras and a secret mantra for each individual person.
Yes.
Maum meditation is not that.
Totally different than any other meditation.
What differentiates it?
Well, Maum meditation is a 7-step guided method which allows one to change their mind from the human mind to the universe mind. It's false. Oh. It's an illusion.
I was quoting Mr. Spock from Star Trek last night.
Yeah, the false mind is the human mind. So the human mind is not a good mind to have. The universe mind, the infinite mind, is the living consciousness. So we have a 7-step method to allow you to change from the false mind to the mind of reality. The universe consciousness is the real living consciousness. But the false human mind is an accumulation of everything that you've stored by using this body as a camera, and all you've done is record what we call in Maum meditation a picture world, which is an illusion world. It's not the living world, it's totally different. But humans are living inside a world that they themselves made, believing it to be real.
Now, with someone like Stevie Wonder, who's blind, do they have an audio world?
Yes.
As opposed to a picture
Yes.
world?
So this body is used as a camera, and we use all the senses to record that false world within our mind. So it's very important that people first hear about the fact that they're living in an illusion world, and that's what we provide through the hour-long lecture. We talk about what the human mind is. And then we also talk about the 7-step method, which is a method of subtraction. That's another thing that's very different about Maum meditation. All we do in Maum meditation is subtract that which humans have added when they built their own mind world. So Maum meditation allows you to subtract everything that you added. And then when you change your mind through the 7-step process, as much as you subtract from your false world, that's how much of the universe consciousness can come in, and that's called enlightenment. So in every step of Maum meditation and every level you go through, your mind is changing to the mind of the universe, and then you have what people have called enlightenment. It's having the wisdom to know the true mind by getting rid of by subtracting the false mind. And if we don't do that, then you stay inside your own mind world, which is an illusion. But through Maum meditation, we have a guided method. You're guided by meditation guides. And we show you how to subtract from your mind using the method. And then your mind changes to the universe mind. And when your mind changes to the universe mind, that's when you can be born in the real world.
I have some questions. Can I ask Mark
Sure.
and Jisoo, and we'll keep revolving. Do you have the microphone?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The Matrix. Have you seen the movie The Matrix?
Yes, a long time. A long time ago.
It was 1999, I think. But the theory there, it kind of like came from an Outer Limits show years earlier. They might not even think that, but there's a server, a computer server, and on the server, the human minds are, the humans are out there in the fields, and they're in these like tanks, but their minds are all connected to the server. Is it a crude way of saying that the infinite mind is like a server and we're connected to it? And is there a kind of a like parallel?
I mean, I think there's a parallel. I might say that there's a parallel that the human mind isn't is separated from the universe mind. I don't know if I would go as far to say, you know, the analogy you just made.
Just so people can grasp what it is, because they were all living in an illusion world, the
Yes.
Matrix.
Yes.
And they're living in an illusion, and Morpheus, his job was to wake them all up like he woke up.
Mm-hmm.
So Maum meditation maybe is waking people up.
Exactly. You can call it enlightenment or awakening. So actually what humans have inside of their mind world, inside their mind, is different than the world of reality. So the Matrix was right on when they were making this film about people living in an illusion world, because people are not living in the real world. So that can be changed by awakening or enlightenment. So if you're living in an illusion world, it's the same as being dead or inside a dream, no consciousness, inside a dream. So the awakening from the dream is also an explanation of what we do through subtracting that which is in our mind, waking up from the illusion.
And we discussed last week about the Native Americans. I brought this up that some of them claim that the dream world is the real world and this world is the illusion. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say for me because I'm just listening.
Yeah.
And throwing questions. Jisoo, have you heard of Hermetic philosophy? Have you?
No.
Sorry, I haven't.
Okay. I'll throw a little bit at you. The filmmakers of The Matrix are very clever. They took from a lot of movies, they took from a lot of philosophy, but Hermetic philosophy is fascinating. There's a book called The Kabbalion, and it asks the question, if God is all, or if all, or however you want to label all, the infinite is all, you can't add anything to it.
Right.
So this illusion world that we're allegedly living in. What is it? Where is it? And how is it? And the Hermeticists believe, which is where we get the word hermit, because it's locked up. But they're not hermits locked away. It's just the words were locked up. And they were living in the lives with their feet on the ground, but their consciousness elsewhere. And they're saying it's God's dream, basically, the all's dream. When the all meditates, our reality is in that, and that's how the all creates more, because it's the all's dream. It's just one line of thought. But I'm exploring here what you are presenting and then my own life path.
What I like about what you were saying about that philosophy is that that the original universe was already complete.
Okay.
So that means that that existence, which is non-material, was already complete. Nothing has ever been added to that complete existence.
And there was no beginning or end, so it's always been.
Exactly. There was no beginning. It exists right now and will exist forever and ever. In the material form, everything has its own lifespan. But that universe consciousness is the truth, because, or God, or whatever you want to call it, soul and spirit, energy and light, Buddha, Allah. That existence will live forever and ever. So, Joe, if you changed your mind to the universe mind and you awoken from your dream and you're living as the universe in the real world, when your body dies, 70, 80, 90 years, the lifespan of humans is over. So, but the consciousness that you have become through this meditation will live eternally, because the universe consciousness never ever dies. So it was already complete. Now it's time for human completion. Now it's time for people to stop adding to and building their mind world. That's the reason why people have stress. That's the reason why there's conflicts within relationships. That's why there's conflicts between countries, because everyone's living inside their own mind world, not in the one world of reality.
I'm going to defend my entire race. And anyone can answer this. Mark, Jisoo, Margie. A little baby's born and starts crying, and maybe it takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to get up to speed of an awareness. So in Catholic religion, and I don't think Jesus came up with this at all, but the Catholics, which I was raised into, believe in original sin. So the baby comes in and becomes aware, and then becomes a woman or a man, just kind of fumbling through life, seeking. And the Bible says those who seek God diligently, he will reward those who seek him. It sounds like this is the same sort of path.
Yeah. And on that note, too, I mean, if you're relating it to a religion, I was also raised a Catholic. And so in the Bible, Jesus even shows us that we have to die the self in order to live. He was showing us then we have to die the false self, and, you know, give everything up for the truth. And so in Maum meditation, by your subtracting, that's dying the self, because what you decided in your program as who you are is not the real you. The real you is the universe. So you have to find your true self while you are living, which means you have to die the false self in order to live and live forever. That's why we had the subtraction method in Maum meditation, because that's the giving up of the self.
If we believe in the ascension, as some people do, Mary not dying, which I don't know, I wasn't there, Enoch possibly, or Jesus saying to Peter, what is it to you if I tell him to tarry till I come, you follow me, about St. John, basically saying St. John would live forever, and telling St. Peter he'd die on the crucifix, you follow me. There's great mystical power in the Bible, and I explore many of these things, so pardon me if I'm veering off your track, But I'm just looking, and
Sure.
as our viewers probably want to
Yeah.
explore too, there's all sorts of different paths. But let's get back to yours. Maybe I digressed a little. You met Wu Myung, did I say his name right?
Yes.
And I thank you for the book, The Way to Become a Person in Heaven While Living. When did you meet Wu?
I started this meditation several years ago. I had a pamphlet, and at that time, the founder of the meditation was giving a lecture at Harvard University. And so I attended that lecture. So I was able to meet him at that time. And the next day, I went to the center and started the meditation. But
The very next day?
The very next day, yeah. And I haven't looked anywhere else because this has given me the answers to all the questions. When you say people kind of fumble through life, they don't know a clear path, they don't have the answers to the most fundamental questions.
But some are looking to defend.
Yeah,
I'm defending my
absolutely.
race
Yes,
here.
absolutely. And I'm glad they're looking. That's why our center is so busy. That's why the centers are growing all around the world, because people are looking for answers.
And I find this is a good, solid path. In fact, we're going to get to Jisu's story
Sure.
and Mark's story. Can you hold that
Sure.
thought, and we go to one
Yeah,
of the stories and get back
absolutely.
to that thought?
Yeah.
Who wants to go? All right. You were on a path searching for something, like Trinity in the Matrix.
So I was basically looking for a way to make my life better, and I found out about Maum meditation, and since day one, my life has completely changed into being positive. Because the method of Maum meditation is very, very simple, and because it addresses all the root causes of our problems, there is no need for you to pretend to be happy. By the end of all the levels, you will be happy forever. So I have really benefited from Maum meditation, and I'm really glad that I found out about Maum meditation.
And you meet new people.
Yes, all the time. Since we have 2 seminars every week, we meet a lot of new people.
And we also travel to different centers
Yes,
too,
we do.
and we get to see the students at the different centers. And when I say students, we're a nonprofit educational organization, so we refer to the practitioners of Maum meditation as students.
So let me ask a good question now. The centers in New England, how many are there?
We don't have an exact count because honestly, they're just opening so quickly.
So are they in Maine and in New Hampshire?
No, not in Maine and New Hampshire. We have them, yeah, Mark, you
Yeah.
probably know.
Massachusetts?
Well, right now we have one in Boston, and we're looking at opening another center
So you
soon.
have Arlington and Boston.
So here's
Just,
some of the
just the
centers.
Boston Center is in Arlington.
My question is, where do you go when you visit the other centers?
We go to New York and Jersey, Virginia,
We're not Canada.
Philadelphia.
We're not Vancouver West Side.
It's a little long drive, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little bit too long for us to drive there, but
But it should be fun to visit another country. I think you all should.
yeah.
Just to see how their reaction is to Maum meditation.
Yeah, we've been to California too and visited some of the centers there.
Middle East and North Africa, Oceania, which is Australia and Perth and Sydney and New Zealand. New Zealand is like quite a ways from Australia, but we all lump them together because on the map it's like New Zealand and Australia. That's fascinating. In Asia, South America, and the USA, I'll say some Miami, San Diego, New York, Bayside, lots in New York and Los Angeles and Philadelphia. Did you visit the New York ones?
Yes.
All 3 together?
No, we go at different times, but occasionally when we have time, because we're very busy at our own center, but when we have time, we try to get together once a month with the New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia centers, because those are the closest ones, and do like a day-long meditation and get to meet everyone and have some fun too.
Now, do you use the new technologies in a case of, say, someone comes to you and you know you can help them, but they're not getting it, can you call New York and say set up the Skype and maybe have a New York person at Maum Meditation get through to the person that needs help, wants help, but...
Well, the only thing is, Joe, that you know, the method itself is so simple, and so there's very, very few people who don't get it.
Just asking.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you for the question. It's good to let people know that it's very simple. In fact, 4-year-olds are doing this meditation up to 104-year-olds.
And they're editing on computers, too. The 4-year-olds today are different from when I was 4.
Yeah, absolutely. So this method is universal. It's for everyone. So we don't have a need to reach out to other centers. The guides at each center have become experts at guiding just through their process of going through the levels themselves. And also there's sometimes we have a training program. The meditation originated in South Korea, so that's kind of right now where the headquarters are.
Maum Meditation.
Maum Meditation. And so those that want to be a guide can go there for like a 4-week training, which is great because then you get to work with lots of people at one time.
Is Wu from South Korea?
He is, yeah. He's from South Korea, and you know, he's been opening up these centers since 1996, and he's been writing books. He's already written...
66?
1996.
96,
yeah,
96.
Sorry.
No, my fault.
So, and he's been writing books to share with people who may not be doing Maum meditation, but they want to have some hope. He tries to give them hope through his teachings, through his writings. So he's already written 12 books, and all of his books are being translated into many different languages right now because the meditation is growing so fast, and there are many, many people that want to be able to become free from their illusion world, which is the reason why people have stress and conflicts and resentments and depression, and all of those things are coming from their own mind, what they've recorded and held on to. So these books that he has written give people hope, but the most important thing is the method. So I would urge anyone who wants to investigate more about being trapped in a picture world inside of you, and that process of adding to it never ends. In fact, that mind world becomes very noisy, and that creates a lot of stress. So for people that want to become, as Jisoo did, happy, and this is true happiness, and really want to know what it is to live and live forever without pain, without burden. In the world of reality, everybody should be running to Maum Meditation and check it out. And for those who have a lot of questions, people are seeking because people are not complete. If they were complete, they'd have the wisdom of the universe and have all the answers from within them. Where they come from, where they go, what is true happiness? What does it mean to be free of pain and burden? All of those answers are discovered by throwing away all of the things that are causing the questions and the problems, everything that we stored in our mind.
My eccentricities are what drive this show. Patti Smith, my sins are my own, they belong to me. Some people like being in their picture world.
Yeah.
I like being in my picture world here. But I do have some good questions about this. As we said earlier about a child being born into the picture world, if you will. When parents bring their children to Maum Meditation, you said a 4-year-old can pick it up. Do you see a difference with someone who hasn't been programmed for 30, 40 years and people who have been trapped in depressions or drugs or alcohol, whatever out there that clutters up the filter?
Absolutely. So a child is already born with the body attachment to the material.
Original sin.
Right. And from then, we from a very young age, we started building all of those things that eventually caused the stress and the depression and all of those, and the, you know, regrets and enemies and hatred and anger. Yes, and deadlines and fears and stress. So it is a lot different when parents are coming, they're doing the meditation, they have so many benefits from it. They bring their children to start the meditation. So the difference is that, yes, the child has not accumulated as many pictures, has not built the self or that ego to the extent that an adult has done. So it's much easier for them to go through the 7 levels. It's much quicker for them to change their mind to the universe mind.
Now that's interesting you say 7 levels. In Hermetic philosophy, there are 7, gender being one of them. There are 7 principles in Hermetic philosophy. I love reading the book because it's an amazing book, and you stumble upon it, if you will, in your search. Mm-hmm. And but 7 seems to be a very spiritual number. Can you define the 7 for the audience? Is that okay?
Sure.
Or should they go to a lecture first?
I can define it for them, yep. So level 1, we're throwing away the remembered thoughts. It's kind of like we have made a videotape in our mind. And in that videotape, you have your hometown, you have your parents, and you have your siblings in elementary school and middle school and high school and college. And then after college, you have work, and you have spousal relationships and children. And so it's everybody has those same themes, but in everybody's mind, it's a different story. Mm-hmm. So in level 1, you're able to get rid of the remembered thoughts about your videotape from when you were young up through today. Level 2 is subtracting the images of yourself, lots of images of ourselves we can remember when we were young and what we look like, and also the images of our relationships. So, for instance, in my mind, if I have a picture of myself inside my mind and I have a picture of my mother, there's no oneness there, right? There's me and there's you, because in my mind creates the false, the illusion of me and you, myself and my mother. So as much as you subtract, that's level 2, that's how much of the universe mind can come in.
I like having my wonderful thoughts of vacationing with mom and dad and, you know, brother and sisters.
Yeah, it's an illusion though, it's a dream. You're not living in reality.
It's a beautiful reality for me.
Yeah. So
I will defend it.
Okay, and I'll just say that the program...
We had a lovely cottage in Maine, and we'd make pilgrimages back there.
Yeah. Well, so this meditation is about freedom and liberation, living as one with the infinite universe mind. There's no limitation in the universe mind. So by you defining in your program what was happy, you have made a picture of what brought me happiness, and what makes me feel good is when
Margie, I'm happy right here on my TV show, and I'm happy when me and my roommate trek up to Maine, you know.
Uh-huh. No, but this is...
And sometimes mom and dad drive up or fly up, and we all go to Maine together.
Yeah, changing your mind to the universe mind is a totally different happiness. It's not happy based on some condition. In order for me to be happy, I have to do this. Yeah, it's happiness because there's complete freedom from all the things that you've stored in your mind. And in the human mind, it's limited by what you've programmed to be happy. In other words, so you can't be unlimited to be happy all the time, just for no reason at all. You'll hear many, if you go on our website, you'll see many testimonials. And people say that one of the benefits is that they're just joyful all the time without any particular reason.
But you're happy teaching, and you're happy teaching Maum meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important, that you have an enthusiasm to bring people into it.
Yeah.
I think, just like I'm an evangelist for the TV show, and that's what a friend of mine in Arlington called me, the Access Evangelist. This makes me happy, but I had to fight hard for free speech. And you're all happy here being on my show, thankfully. I'm glad you returned. But that happiness was hard fought because free speech, it's a real tender thing. And I know it might be an illusion out there, but my illusion of fighting for free speech is helping Maum meditation.
And yeah, we thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, but we're happy here, but it comes at a price. And there are those, the cable TV providers, who would love to get away from Access TV. You know, they had to participate in Access TV because they were digging up the cities. So the Telecommunications Act, they had to give something back, and that something was Access TV. Now, if you have cable, you pay a cable bill. There's a little franchise fee. So the cable TV people aren't really paying for it. The subscribers are paying for this. And in Winchester, we have a wonderful studio. You saw how nice Anthony is to us.
Yeah.
You know, he helped us out so much here just setting up tonight. We thank him for that, and we thank WinCAM. And I wanted to say at the beginning, I'll say it right now, the views and opinions of my guests and of me are those of Visual Radio and its guests, and not necessarily those of the board of directors of WinCAM and our affiliate stations, of which there are many. So I like to say that, and I'll say it again at the end of the show.
Okay.
But we all get together and we all coexist, and I'm thrilled you're here because I love learning, and you're doing wonderful work.
Thank you.
I just, you know, you're wonderful people. The vibe was so good last week, it's good again this week. And Jennifer Weiner was my guest. She's very successful now. In 2002, 10 years ago, she had In Her Shoes, which became a big movie with Cameron Diaz. And she's actually in Massachusetts right now, but she's maybe working on the new book. This is her brand new one. They just sent it to me, The Next Best Thing. It's so exciting when a author comes on the show, and 10 years later, she's a major author with a movie under her belt. It's just, I have fun communicating with people, and I love what you're doing, and I'm very impressed that you're so happy with it.
Thank you.
Step 3. Does Mark want to tell us about step 3?
So in level 3, we work on discarding the attachments to the body that's taking all of these pictures. So, and that's really important because we don't want to just keep discarding the pictures as we keep taking them. We want to stop taking the pictures. So that's what level 3 is about. So obviously you're not getting rid of the body, you're getting rid of your attachment to the body.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
I'm not going to disagree because I will go off and digress and digress.
So level 3 is very important, Joe, because you know, the human body is going to disappear after 70, 80, 90 years, right? So if we get rid of the attachment to it now, then our mind can expand to the universe mind. Right now, your mind is trapped inside your body. So if you get rid of the illusion of this body as being the true you, then your mind can expand to the infinite universe mind.
I like that, because a lot of friends of mine are into reincarnation, but this does not subscribe to reincarnation, that you have to come back to the body repeatedly.
No.
This is a freedom
the truth is you're here one time. Yeah. So if you want to do the most important thing while you're here for this one time, it is to change your mind to the universe mind in order to live and live forever. That's the true meaning of why people are here, is to live and live forever. You know, there were many sages and many prophets that foretold that there will be a time where people can live and live forever. So we're saying now is the time. So the consciousness of people has to change to the universe mind.
Which Hebrews 11, the Bible says that too, now. Now faith is a substance.
Yeah.
Now is a key word that sometimes people overlook it.
Right.
But living in the now.
Right.
and in the infinite.
Right. And also, I mean, if you're living in an illusion world, it doesn't really make sense, because if you're just here living in an illusion world, you know, working hard, doing all the things that people do, and then just die, and, you know, that really doesn't have a big meaning or purpose.
Well,
so the meaning and purpose is truly to live and live forever with happiness, without distress, without pain, and without burdens.
I will very respectfully say, let's consider me the all. I'm the all. And we have an audience here that laughed at me being the all. But I'm just playing a part, a role. And the all is hanging around eternity, which is forever and ever, longer than we can even imagine. Even longer than that, because it's eternity. And then the all decides, I want to come up with a distinctive personality and name that personality Mark. And Margie. And Jisoo. Those three distinctive personalities, I think, are very important to the all. So, and I'm not being antagonistic, but isn't it great to embrace the personality that the infinite gave you? Because your personality is very important in how you teach people and draw people in.
Yeah, it's important, but the most important thing is that personality, this person, is going to go away one day. But if you change your mind to the universe mind, the universe never goes away. So, you know, that's the most important thing.
But your personality will exist in the universe. I hope.
So,
I mean, I just...
Yeah, so the universe exists and exists forever. So that's what the meditation is all about, subtracting everything that is false within your mind. Yeah.
Can Jisoo tell us what level 4 is?
Sure. Level 4 is also throwing away body and then the universe. So basically, within ourselves, we have also taken the picture of the universe, which is limited to ourselves. So we also throw that away so that our consciousness can actually grow as big as the real original universe.
So in level 3, Mark told us we were discarding attachments, and now in level 4, you're moving from the attachments to the body itself. Is that crude but somewhat accurate?
Yeah, and I think that actually, Jean, if you can bring over that chart, because it's kind of a little bit, it's easier if we can show it. Thank you so much. And this is one of the, thank you. And this is one of the things that we...
You saw the hand of Jean, one of our previous guests.
Thank you, Jean. And so this is kind of like a diagram of the different levels. And it's kind of a little bit hard to understand if we're just explaining it in a couple of minutes, but that's why we have the introductory lectures, because we can go into more detail and explain what the each level is, and showing how this is the human trapped inside of their mind world. And then as we start stripping away the different layers, going through the levels of Maum meditation, that is how much the mind changes to the universe mind. But when we go, if you come to the introductory lecture, we can go into a lot more detail of what all of that means. But most importantly, when you said earlier, by doing that, your mind is changing to the universe mind, so you're awakening from the dream or the illusion. In each level, you will have enlightenment to what your true existence is. You can only find truth from within you. So you have to subtract that which is false in order to find the truth, in order to change your mind to the universe mind. And then when you're finished all the levels, that's when your mind is the same as that original foundation. Before any material came about, there was just the infinite emptiness. And that is the existence that will live forever. When your mind changes to the infinite universe mind, that completely empty mind, that's the mind of happiness, that's the mind of freedom, that's the mind of great joy. Then you can be reborn in that place, in the universe, and live as the universe, because the universe never dies. So that's when you can have life and live forever. So that's just a chart kind of showing the different levels of Maum meditation, and we have these at the centers. So when you come to the lecture, we'll go into that in more detail.
I want to fly through the universe like the Silver Surfer does. I live in movies. I collect things. It's very hard to let go when you hear that there's 7 levels and then you're just free. And some of us like our things.
Mm-hmm.
I love books. Thank you very much for my book here. Back in the 90s, I worked with a band called Spirit, the late Randy California. And he used to go to India and meet with his, it was Michael Jackson's guru. Guru. Mm-hmm. Did you ever go to India?
No.
Did Wu visit India and the other meditation centers?
I'm not sure. He was seeking answers to his questions about where do I come from, where do I go after I die,
Mm-hmm.
What is the true meaning and purpose of life, kind of like the fundamental questions that everybody usually kind of contemplates. And he did go to many sages and gurus and philosophers and spiritual people, and he found it very kind of a little bit awkward that everyone had the different answers to those questions. Mm-hmm. And he thought, well, if there's only one truth, how come there's so many different answers? But he did find all of those answers through the process of subtracting what he had in his mind. And that's when he was enlightened, and that's when he finally, became complete and was able then to introduce the method of completion to the entire world. And that's why there's so many centers being opened up now. So he did, like many of us have done, is try to find answers from others. And he realized the only way to find the answers is from within yourself through the method of subtracting. And then that's when you have true enlightenment.
It is interesting how someone creates something. We talked about Jose Silva, and he had the levels too, I remember. You went through the Silva?
No.
Oh, you knew of it though?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, I'd met Jose Silva, I believe, at one of the, back in the 70s. I don't think he's with us anymore. But he had his levels, and it was interesting. But then EST grew out of that, and other things grew out of the Silver method. And even take the Catholic Church and the Christianity, it's so diverse now. How can you, like you said, how can you have so many different factions of one truth? It doesn't, it's not logical.
Well, the logical answer to me, now that I have gone through the levels of Maum meditation, is that it's not truth. There's many different denominations of even one religion. So then, you have to ask yourself, and if you haven't found the truth or you haven't become truth in that place or in that practice, then maybe it's not truth. And if there are many different sectors of one, religion, then it might be false. Did you want to add anything to that?
I would just say that the reason there are many different denominations, let's take Christianity. When we think about how many different denominations in Christianity we have, they're all based on the same Old Testament and the same New Testament. So what created those different denominations were people's different interpretations.
And protesting, as in the Protestant
As in the
religion,
Protestant.
which is a protest.
So in those different interpretations are results of the human mind, not the original scripture. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Mark, do you want to tell us your story a bit?
Yeah, I'll briefly share my story. When I came to Maum meditation, I was in very bad shape, and I was suffering from a lot of anxiety and depression. and it came. And I had sought help in counseling. I had sought help in psychiatry. I had sought help with some body-centered, therapies. And I found some relief from the symptoms, or I found coping strategies, but it never got rid of the problem. And so I was really struggling just to get some relief, and I didn't really want to kind of like dampen the symptoms. I wanted them gone. And I wasn't able to do that through the methods that I had tried. And I wasn't seeking any sense of spirituality or spiritual development, even though some people had told me I probably should. But I just Googled it, and I went to a lecture. I went to a lecture that Margie did, and I signed up the same day.
In Arlington?
Yep. And I was very skeptical, and I was like, well, I'll try it. I'll see what happens. And I'm still here. I'm still with it. So that's my story.
That's a very nice story.
Thank you.
And Jisoo, we talked a little bit about what drew you to Maum.
Yes.
And I will say that we've got, when it says 7:50, 7:15, that's our time out. So I will give us a heads up, but I want you to talk about whatever you want in the next 10 minutes.
Okay, thank
So I'm
you.
going to let you take the floor, and I'm not going to interrupt.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Okay,
One thing I will interrupt. Is there a website that gives you directions to the Arlington? Or can you Google Maum Meditation Arlington?
Yes.
So you can go into Google or Bing and put Maum, M-A-U-M, Meditation Arlington, and
Maum.org. Yeah.
and Maum.org will have Arlington.
Yeah, the best search would probably be, go to Maum.org, because, maybe some of your listeners or the people that this taping will reach out to are not necessarily in the Arlington area.
We're all over the place. Wakefield,
Oh, okay,
Billerica,
great, wonderful.
Burlington.
Right, so
Norfolk.
yeah, so we want people to know that we're not just local here in the Boston area, but check out the Maum.org, because that will give you a listing of where all the centers are in the U.S. and all over the world. So, if you are yourself are seeking, those answers to the most fundamental questions, and you really want to know how to attain true freedom and happiness, and what it's like to live with the true mind, not being dictated by what's going on in your mind, because everything that people say, how they think, what they do, all their actions are coming, and how they feel physically and emotionally are coming from what they have recorded and stored in their mind. So if you want to know how to become free of all of that noise and all of that chatter, check out Maum.org and go to one of the centers, or call one of the centers and set up a reservation for a lecture as soon as possible. It really will make a big difference in your life, and it's the most important thing you can do, because it means life and living forever versus living in an illusion world and then dying. That doesn't make any sense at all. So please, we encourage everyone to come and visit the center, and you will know through this meditation that it is the way to attain the most important thing you can attain, and that is to live and live forever. But not only that, in the process, you will start feeling happier, lighter, less stress. You're going to be able to let go of all of your regrets and any resentments that you're still holding. So, and when you were saying, Joe, about you like your possessions, we're not telling you to get rid of, the book.
Or Jennifer.
Or Jennifer, right. We're showing you the subtraction method on how to get rid of thinking that, my possessions are what define me. And you have to get rid of that thinking, which is the attachment.
Oh, I'm not there. I like them.
Okay.
I like, you know, some people like their clothing.
Yeah. So we're not saying you have to get rid of your possessions. Physically. You have to get rid of what you're holding on to, that thinking that those are what is of value in life. And your mind is the most precious thing. Your mind is the most valuable thing, because that's the mind that you can change to the universe mind. And so you have to be very considerate of your mind, because it's the most precious thing you have. If you change it to the universe mind, you will have freedom and happiness and live a true life. If you want to live in the world of reality, if you want to do something for the world, you have to live in the real world. What I have in my mind world, what you have in your mind world are illusions. So if you're living in an illusion world, then this world has no value at all. So the most precious thing is your mind. So we're asking you, or inviting you to, treat it as if it's the most valuable thing, and change your mind, empty out. When you have the empty mind, that is freedom, and that is true happiness. So please, everyone, come to Maum Meditation and find out.
It's a free lecture on Wednesdays at 7 and Saturdays at 7. When it's free, I can say it all I want.
Yeah.
Because we're public access, but free things in a nonprofit, that's fun. We only have like 3 minutes left. Isn't it fun? It just goes by.
Yeah, it goes by so fast.
And
our students, by the way, are our best source of advertising, because people in their families and their friends and their coworkers notice a change in them.
A positive change.
Positive change in them. And so they're the ones that are kind of walking advertisement for Maum Meditation, because of the changes that family and friends see in them. They come and do Maum Meditation as well. And so our students, at the centers that you go to, there will be students available to talk about what their experience has been, and it's always very positive. And you can also see some of those testimonials on our website, maum.org.
And briefly, it's interesting to me that we put so much, you're talking about possessions, the Mona Lisa is so important to the world, a piece of artwork, yet human life and even the lives of whales and animals seem to be secondary to great works of art. And I think that what you're doing is wonderful, because you're taking an interest in living beings and helping them. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's enough of that today. I think we're too caught up in getting that edge over everyone else, in competition.
Yeah.
And Maum is not competitive.
No. Yeah.
I'm not a member of Maum, I'm just, but I am endorsing a good positive thing for people.
Yeah, and on that note too, Joe, is that, we have value in the material things, but when you think about it, the universe was first. It's the reason, because it's the living source of everything, it brings about all the material. So that non-material is the most valuable, because that existence is the one that's going to live and live forever. So the universe was first. And so if you become one with the universe, then that existence, the universe will never die, right?
No. And the address again on Mass Ave in Arlington is?
48 Mass Ave,
48
Arlington.
Mass Ave. We've got 1 minute left. I want to thank Margie, Jisoo, and Mark for being here. On Visual Radio, it's August 16th. The Beatles were touring 46 years ago with my friend Bobby Hebb. And the views and opinions expressed on this program tonight are those of Visual Radio, its host, and his guests, and not necessarily those of Winchester Community Access and Media or the affiliate stations that do rebroadcast this program. I want to thank David Gauthier and Anthony Gamari, and we saw Joe LaRocca in the parking lot. Hello, Joe. And Gene Martin from Medford. I want to thank everyone for being part of the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. It was our pleasure.
And part 2 of our interview with Maum Meditation. And Peace be unto you.
Yes, thank you. We're really appreciative of the opportunity you're giving, because you're hopefully, by your efforts, many, many, many people will participate in my meditation and be able to live and live forever happily. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's our program for tonight.